Commanders morning, Tantalak, Soweto Parliament. I'm going through some reports after receiving so many phone calls from concerned civilians, citizens, and various groups that I'll not mention about the communication sent out by the American Embassy in regards to the possible terrorist attacks in Johannesburg, Sandton. So what I can tell you is that many of our law enforcement and security agencies have confirmed this communication to be positive and not just hoax. So with that said, all the ground forces in South Africa from various communities, townships in particular, have said that no, they want to come and support and fight and be no. So after having proper conversations and communications with our government, with the state agencies, various security agencies, private and government, the conclusion is that there's already deployment on the ground. So civilians need not worry at all. There's security on the ground, there's deployment on the ground. Our willing and able security clusters, I don't want to mention them by name for obvious reasons because the enemy will also listen to the video. So what I can guarantee and reassure is that everyone, do not try go to Sandton and try and front line ribbing this terrain. If you are part of our structures and systems, you know the commanders in your area, talk to them. We're going to have some bases set up around Sandton, not in Sandton, and you're going to be deployed there, ready to assist the state. So we're not going to go ahead of the state if there's any problems. But the truth of the matter is that I don't think there will be a problem in Sandton. I personally think that Sandton is a decoy. Let me also give background. It is true that we do have terrorists on the ground. Yes, it's true. And simply because honale negotiations, peace talks that are happening in South Africa, peace talks to bring about an end to the civil war in Ethiopia with all the rebels, junta, and the Ethiopian government. So South Africa has been hosting the peace talks from the 25th to the 30th. It's going to take place until the 30th. Now, there is no way that the rebels will send their leaders and will not have security on the ground, forces on the ground, in case of the peace talks being a trap for them to be arrested and charged with crimes against humanity, treason in Ethiopia, etc., etc. So it's only natural that you're going to have a high concentration of terrorists in one area where the negotiations are happening. I'll also not mention where the negotiations are happening for obvious reasons. And that's why there was a communication that says people must leave Sandton and they mustn't come to Sandton, etc. So I just think that it went out the wrong way. It should have been better communicated. I'm just worried, why would the American Embassy feel the need of it communicating such a thing when we've got international relations and security protocol? That information should have went to our government, to our security agencies, so that our own government can be able to communicate this sensitive information in the best way possible for people not to panic. Now we've got people panicking. You go to Sandton City, it's empty, but the forces on the ground are covering every square mile of that area. So 100% guarantee again that I can communicate to you. The biggest problem for the weekend is, the communication was for the 29th, was for Saturday the 29th, that there will be a terrorist attack. Like I said, Sandton for me is a decoy. The places that need double, triple deployment for security is Moses Mabhida Stadium. I'm looking at the report here. The Zulu King coronation will be on the 29th, and there'll be 85,000 people that are expected at Moses Mabhida, with international guests. So for me, Durban is a focal point. We also have the Gay Pride event that was happening in Sandton, or scheduled to happen also on the 29th. Double deployment for security there as well. Soweto Derby, heavy triple, if possible, deployment of security. We know that will also assist in Soweto with the Soweto security cluster, and perhaps Alexandra security clusters, to go there and make sure that COVID security is deployed, and the derby is seamless, and we don't have any security threats in that regard, and if any, we are prepared for it. The Soweto Olympics were also scheduled for the same date, but they were since moved to the 19th of November. So that's it. That's the report. The facilitation of the peace talks between the rebel forces and the Ethiopian government are facilitated by former Nigerian President Olusegun, former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, former Deputy President of South Africa Mephumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka. So those talks are currently happening, and we just hope those talks go well, because those talks might just be the trigger of anything that may happen if perhaps things don't go well in those talks. But one thing I can guarantee is that the people that I've mentioned are capable and competent negotiators, international negotiators. They know their story, so we shouldn't have any problems in South Africa. And good going for South Africa to host peace talks, as sensitive, as dangerous as that may be, to ensure that there's peace in the continent. For my side, I'm just going through more documents to see if there's anything I should be letting you know. From my side, that's it, 100%. So I think I've communicated as best as possible. Again, the most pressing one, my chance, all forces, you stand down. You don't go ahead of the state when you get into Sandton. There are bases around Sandton. I will not mention where. There'll be bases around Moses Mabhida. There'll be bases around Orlando Stadium during the derby. There'll be bases around the Gay Pride, again, that also falls into Sandton. So there's enough security for people not to be the superstar leading. We're going to work together. We're going to be very patient with this one and see it through. But one thing I can guarantee is that the forces are willing, and they're able, and they're competent. They are on the ground as we speak, and intelligence has been flying around, and there's proper joint ops with international agencies as well. The only thing I would personally like is to see the Embassy of America apologizing formally, the same way they sent out a letter that leaked and went everywhere. They must have another letter that apologizes to the people of South Africa and the government of South Africa, because such sensitive information should be communicated by government, or at least people of South Africa. Because if we were to do the same thing in America, our embassy sending out possible terrorist attacks in America, as sensitive as that is, so as soon as we would do that in America, it'd be a big problem, international relation problem. So let's just respect each other for who we are, and okay, we do have a government in South Africa. We've got law enforcement agencies, security agencies, joint ops, we've got the military. So let us understand our responsibilities and respect each other in that regard. With that said, Tantla Lux, Soweto Parliament, Commanders Monday.